Hallo, og velkommen til webinar om businessstudier. Hvis dere har et problem med å høre med underveis, så skriv gjerne til meg i chatten, så skal vi se om vi kan få ordnet det. Først litt om webinaret. Det skal vare cirka 1 time. Jeg heter Camilla, og jeg jobber her i Study Outside Norway, eller Sonor, som vi også blir kalt. Webinaret tar som sagt 1 time, og vi tar spørsmål helt til slutt. Så hvis du har spørsmål, er det bare å sende til meg i chatten. Og du kan skrive på norsk eller engelsk. Først vil jeg gå litt gjennom hva Sonor er, og hva vi kan hjelpe deg med. Og jeg vil også gå gjennom ofte stilte spørsmål som vi i Sonor får. Deretter skal dere få høre fra universitetene våre. I dag har vi med oss 4 universitet, og de skal få presentere seg selv etterpå. Men vi har da med oss Bond University, som ligger i Australia, University of Strahclyde, som ligger i Storbritannia, Hult International Business School, som har campus flere steder i verden. Og så har vi James Cook University Singapore, som da ligger i Singapore. Så dukker det opp litt folk underveis her, ser jeg. Dere får bare henge med, og hvis det er noe dere ikke får med dere, så er det bare å spørre til slutt. Sonor da er en norsk organisasjon som hjelper hovedsakelig norske studenter å søke studier i utlandet. Vi er 5 veiledere med erfaring fra utlandet, fra veldig mange forskjellige steder. Både USA, Storbritannia, Nederland og Kina. Og vi har kontor i Trondheim og Oslo. Og vi har samarbeid med da over 60 ulike universitet i 5 engelskspråklige land. USA, Storbritannia, Singapore, Australia og New Zealand. I tillegg så har vi da medisin- og tannlegestudier i EU. Og vi tilbyr da elever hjelp med å finne det universitetet du har lyst til å søke på. Og all hjelp som du får av oss er helt uforpliktende og gratis. Og vi kan hjelpe deg gjennom hele søknadsprosessen. Du vil da få din egen veileder som du kan snakke med på e-post eller på telefon. Eller vanligvis kan du også komme innom kontoret vårt, men akkurat nå så tar vi ikke mot besøk. Vi kjenner jo til søknadsprosessen til alle universitetene som vi samarbeider med, og vi vet hvilke dokument som du trenger for å søke, og vi vet også de ulike opptakskravene til universitetene. Vi hjelper deg i tillegg med å søke på stipend, og vi hjelper deg med det økonomiske, for det kan jo være litt vanskelig å sette seg inn i for eksempel lånekassen da, når du aldri har vært borti det før. Vi hjelper deg også med det praktiske før avreise, som visum og bolig. Og hvis du ser på hjemmesiden vår, så kan du lese litt om andre studenter sin erfaring, som kan være veldig nyttig da, hvis du er litt usikker på hvilket land du vil studere i, eller hvilket universitet du skal starte på. Det er også mulig da å kontakte tidligere studenter for å stille deg spørsmål. Vi i Sonor bruker også å sette studenter i kontakt, de som skal til samme universitet eller samme studiested, hvis det er noe du ønsker da. Så tenkte jeg å gå gjennom litt ofte stilte spørsmål som vi får her i Sonor. Og vi får veldig mange spørsmål om Lånekassen, og Lånekassen den støtter alle universitet som vi samarbeider med, både på bachelornivå og masternivå, og du får støtte til skolepenger og levekostnader. Men prisen på studiet som du skal starte på, den varierer veldig utifra lengden på graden du tar, og hvilket universitet du går på, og også hvilken grad du tar, for ulike fag kan av og til ha ulik pris. så er det slik at universitetene i utlandet ofte krever språktest fra norske studenter. Men dersom du har 4 eller bedre i engelsk fra videregående, så kan du få fritak fra engelsktest i de aller fleste tilfeller. Søknadsfristene, de varierer ganske masse. Det er noen universitet som har veldig tidlige søknadsfrister. Så snakk med oss i Sonor, så får du informasjon, og du får også beskjed når søknadsfristene nærmer seg. Og der er visse studier som for eksempel medisin, der du må søke nesten 1 år før du skal starte. Så det er veldig lurt å være tidlig ute. Så er det jo en litt spesiell situasjon som er i dag. Men selv om veldig mange kanskje ikke har fått reist på ferie og sånne ting i år, så er det fortsatt mulig å reise for å starte på studier. I dag så er det mulig å reise til Storbritannia, Singapore, USA og EU-landene. Det kan være at du må sitte i karantene og ta en koronatest før du reiser eller når du kommer til studielandet. Men det er i hvert fall mulig å få studentvisum. Til Australia og New Zealand så er grensene i dag stengt. Vi vet ikke når det åpner, men det er mulig å utsette studiestart, for eksempel til neste semester, eller du kan starte studiene online. Og vi skal ha noen webinar med våre australske universiteter senere i desember, der de vil snakke litt om det her. Så hvis dere er interessert i det, så er det bare å ta kontakt med meg. Nå tenkte jeg at dere skulle få høre fra universitetene våre. Så Matt, you can share your screen. You can do your presentation now.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me fine and see the screen of Bond University in front of you. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening there in Norway. We're looking forward to discussing some options of study of different parts of the world to consider, and as well with a focus on business. So as Camilla said, my name is Matt Stubbard and I work for Bond University, which is located in the sunny Queensland, Australia. Obviously, we're in a different situation at the moment, so you cannot visit Australia at the current time, but I'm hoping over the next 15 minutes that I can help you visualize that experience for something to consider. As Camilla mentioned, there are remote options that you can look at now to study remotely online if you wanted to get started. But my focus today is to really just show you the university, allow you to visualize that as part of your research, see what's on offer at this part of the world at Bond University, and then we'll have a focus on business at the end and talk about the individual programs. So again, welcome, and there's quite a few slides, but most of them are just pictures and just an opportunity for you to visualize that as part of your research. So where's Bond University? Well, it's located, as I mentioned, on the Gold Coast in Australia. The Gold Coast, if we narrow down, if you're familiar with Australia, I'm not sure. I think most of you probably are, or you've taken the opportunity to learn more today. You can see a big circle there as we narrow down. We're going into Queensland, one of the states in Australia, and all the way down into the southeast Queensland area on the Gold Coast. So the Gold Coast is Australia's fastest growing city. It's the largest non-capital city, and it's approaching about 600,000 as the population. As you can see, it's sort of designed along a beach. It's built sort of along a beach, but gradually working its way back inland. It's a pretty amazing place to be. It's always been the top tourist destination in Australia for visitors to travel, both domestic within Australia as well as international visitors, simply because of the climate, the location, the beach. It sort of has your movie world, dream worlds, all your different things that you can take part of, no matter what part within your family or as an individual. The important thing is it's a city under transformation. It's a city where a lot of the larger cities in Australia, which are amazing places, have become quite expensive. So a lot of companies and corporations are now moving some of their business or regional offices into places like the Gold Coast. So it's causing it to sort of transform a bit and allowing a lot of business opportunity, a lot of sporting opportunity within the whole Southeast Queensland area. So it is a really exciting place to be right now, and certainly an exciting place to study once you can get there. But again, it's not just all beach. It is a lot of different things that you can do along the Gold Coast. But it is a beautiful climate. You know, your winter time is everything's backwards in Australia as far as seasons, but even their winter time in Australia would be as warm as your summertime where the Gold Coast is. So it is a very, you know, nice place to be and a nice place to study. The university itself is Australia's only private not-for-profit institution. So it is built with a very business-oriented design. It's a capped institution of 5,000 students. It's got the lowest student classes in the country of only 10 to 1 within your classrooms. And we aim to have a 50% split of 50% international students, the other 50% domestic students from Australia. And on top of that, a 10% of one nationality within that international student body. So it is a very international focused institution. So it's something to keep in mind as part of your experience, if that's important. Just really quickly, I've highlighted on this slide some of the different areas of study. So I know today we're going to talk about business, but we do have a law school, faculty of health science and medicine, as well as a large area in society and design, film and television, creative media, social sciences, etc. Why bond? Just quickly, as mentioned, rankings wise, some people are interested in rankings, some aren't. So I just put a little slide up there, something to consider, and I'll leave that for you to do some further research with Sonar to find some information about Bond University as well as other universities. But we have done very well with student satisfaction, student experience, and we do, from a business point of view, have our accreditations as well with AA, CSB, ECVIS, and AMBA. If that's something you're familiar with, to let you know that we do have a very good quality business school recognized worldwide. I guess a couple differentiators to consider if you're looking at studying business, which we'll talk about, is we run a trimester system. So typically in Australia, you may start because of the season's difference, you may start in February, or you run a semester, you'll get a little bit of a break, you'll come back in July. You'll run another 15 week semester, and then you'll get 3.5 months roughly off over what is their summertime, your winter in Norway, and sort of Christmas period if you celebrate Christmas. With Bond, we run a trimester system. It allows you to commence in September, January, as well as May. It's the same amount of study each day and each week because our semesters are 15 weeks long. The difference is you only have about a month off between each semester. But what that means is you can finish what is a 3-year degree, so a Bachelor of Business, or most bachelor's degree in Australia are completed in 3 years. You can do that in 2 years at Bond University. So again, no overload of study. It's just less holidays, but per week and semester, it's the same amount of study each day and each week. So this allows you to get out in the workforce, finish faster, get a return on that investment if that's something you're looking at. Again, I mentioned the small class sizes is a very personalized education experience at Bond, so you will know people within your class, your tutorials, as well as your lectures. Just a little slide there on the global breakdown. So just a really few quick slides on facilities. So this is an entrance to the library, so it is important, especially now, for you to visualize what your experience would be look like. A lot of this stuff obviously is available on the website. So an entrance to our library, some multi-purpose learning center, just some study areas where you would spend your day working on your assignments, group work assignments, things like that for you to work on. It's a picture of the architecture building, replica of the Supreme Court of Australia. So there's your mooting court for students that are studying law at Bond University. Some film studios, film and television is a big one, and it's also a very important, program that's a lot of Norwegian students are very interested in at Bond University. Sport is another very interesting part. The Gold Coast promotes a very active lifestyle, and so does Bond University. So student experience is very important. So it's an opportunity to get active and get involved both at a competitive level as well as a non-competitive level. So there really is something for anyone to consider to be involved and to be active. So you don't have to be into sport, but it's certainly something that's on offer. So whether it's boxing, Pilates, or a sport team that you want to get involved in, we have a lot of that. This is the facilities, again, small student numbers, so an opportunity to get active and get involved within the university. So that's the basketball courts, squash courts, tennis courts, rugby, soccer pitches, Olympics, outdoor pool. So a lot of the Australian swim team trains here as well. So just an opportunity to see what that would be like. Sort of focusing in on business, and that's an example of what a classroom would be like within the university. You know, in all fairness, that's a new modern style renovated classroom. So your tutorials are small. It's an academic at the front holding the class. So you are going to be very active and involved, and an opportunity to break down your ideas, get involved in some of the opportunities that you're considering. As far as studying business at Bond University, you'll find most universities in Australia offer some form of a business program. I've highlighted these in different colors. We do offer at an undergraduate level, so your bachelor's level, a Bachelor of Business, a Bachelor of Commerce, Actuarial Science, Data Analytics, Business Law, Hotel and Tourism Management. And then there's some at a postgrad study, if there's anyone who's joined us today considering postgraduate now, or maybe even someone down the road. So a Master's of Business Administration, Finance, Marketing, Accounting, and Sports Management. So, you know, your business degree, you're looking at sort of the management, the entrepreneurship, the opportunity of sort of creating a business, working with a business. Your commerce sort of lends towards your accounting, your working and sort of banking. If you love your money, that might be something that you're very interested in. Your actuarial science is sort of a very good spot for employment at the opportunity. It's dealing with high-level data and high-level risk management. So it could be analyzing insurances and an opportunity of whether someone gets insurance. So they analyze the data behind that. Data analytics is basically all things data. So an incredible opportunity there now for employment, because if you think of anything day to day, a lot of the decisions are data based. So the ability to have the data that companies can get now from your rewards cards or whatever it is that they find, a lot of opportunities across different avenues to work in data analytics and data. Business law is looking sort of at not a law degree, but learning the fundamentals of law at a business level. So you can't be a practicing lawyer or solicitor, but you could certainly write contracts or work within a company and have that law base to be able to be an asset to that company. And then hotel and tourism management. Again, the Gold Coast alone is a terrific mecca for hotel and tourism management. Typically, not now at the moment, obviously, but hotel and tourism management is an opportunity to manage at a very high level. This isn't sort of hospitality. This is managing food and beverage, managing accommodation sections, or managing the whole entire hotel or cruise ships or aviation, revenue management, you know, those things as well. So that's just a really quick taste of sort of some of the opportunities at Bond, and you'll find at a lot of institutions in Australia. I think for us, it's just more of that personalized experience of small focus classes and being involved in that to consider. There are some postgraduate options as well that are mentioned below, but they're really just taking those same areas that we talked about and to a more focused particular area that you may want to do at a later stage at a postgraduate level. One thing of note too with Bond University is we have core subjects that every student does regardless of what your program is. And one of those is a very business focused entrepreneurship course. We want every student that comes to Bond, regardless of what you study, to have some sort of business sense when you come out, so you can market yourself, use yourself, be able to be successful in that sort of area. So it's important for us as a university that every student has that sort of aspect of critical thinking as well as sort of entrepreneurship. Just to let you know as well as I close out that we do have accommodation and dining on campus that's just next to the university. So you can consider that. We also have off campus. This is on campus dining. So we've got a number of restaurants to consider as part of the experience. Student services, all of the institutions talking today will offer these. It's really important that you make sure that whatever institution you're choosing has that ability. And whether that's done remotely currently or whether you're on campus, you need to make sure you have that support behind you throughout that sort of your study experience. So make sure you ask the questions, identify anything that you may need extra support with that we can certainly help you with, or another institution can certainly help you with. That's it from me. I would just say any further questions, please ask Camilla and the Sonar team. They're experts. They represent us extremely well and can help you through the whole entire process. So we can put them in contact with me as well, and I'm happy to help you. So again, thanks so much. We'll be sticking around for any questions at the end. And thanks again for taking the time.
Okay, thanks, Camilla. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be with you tonight. My name's Professor Susan Howick, and I'm a Vice Dean Academic for Strahclyde Business School. Now, the Business School at Strahclyde offers a range of business degrees at both undergraduate and postgraduate level, but I was specifically asked to speak to you tonight about one of our undergraduate courses, which is the Bachelor of Business Administration. Camilla, can you go on to the next slide, please? Thanks. So, before I get on to the detail of that course, just a little bit about the university. So I'm from Strahclyde Business School, which is one of 4 faculties, along with science and engineering and humanities and social science, which form part of Strahclyde University. For those of you unfamiliar with us, then we are located right in the city centre of Glasgow, which is the largest city in Scotland. Next slide, please, Camilla. So before I speak specifically about the business school, which is where this Bachelor Business Administration course is taught, I just wanted to highlight some of the external recognition the university has had recently, reflecting our current excellent standing in the academic community. So currently, we have been awarded Scottish University of the Year, and we're also UK University of the Year. Indeed, although it says UK University of the Year 2019, the 2020 awards haven't been given yet, so we're still UK University of the Year. And indeed, we're the only university in the UK to have been awarded this award twice. So turning to the business school, next slide, please, Camilla. Turning to the business school, because this is where this Bachelor Business Administration is taught. We've also received a number of external recognitions as part of the business school. Next slide, please, Camilla. With these external recognitions, you can be sure that when you study with us, you're studying in a high-quality business school that is recognised by varying professional bodies, just some of which are noted in the slide. In particular, Strahclyde Business School led the way in Scotland with respect to business school accreditation, as we were the first in Scotland to receive the triple accreditation from the 3 key global business school accrediting bodies. Now, our recognition is not only for the business school as a whole, but also extends to the subjects that we teach in the business school at undergraduate level. Next slide, please, Camilla. And we can see this from our recent rankings. So just some of them are here. And you can see for some of the subjects, these are key rankings in the UK that are used for looking at different areas. So we're ranked first in the UK in accounting and finance, with the Sunday Times Good University Guide, and second with the Complete University Guide. Marketing, one of our very strong departments, ranked first in Scotland and third in the UK under the Complete University Guide. And economics, another department, ranked second in Scotland and fourth in the UK, according to the Guardian Best UK Universities. So you can see that it's not only the university, but also the business school and our departments are all highly ranked. Now, these rankings have been achieved through developing a curriculum. What we want to do with the curriculum is both support and challenge students to enable you to develop skills that allow you to have an impact in business and industry when you graduate, because that's all about. It's not just about learning the theory, it's very much about understanding the practice and ensuring that you're leaving the university with very good skills to make an impact in business and industry. And what we do is we are able to do this through utilising our extensive links to business and able to collaborate with industry through them both having input into design and delivery of our courses. So that's just sort of general background to the university and the business school. And let's focus now on this particular course that was asked to talk about, the Bachelor of Business Administration. Next slide, please, Camilla. So as I mentioned previously, we do offer a range of undergraduate degrees in business, and some of them are 4 years long. For instance, our key BA in business is a 4-year programme, and indeed many programmes within Scotland usually are 4-year degree programmes. But the Bachelor in Business Administration is a 3-year honours degree programme instead. Now, the aim of this particular course is to provide you with a broad knowledge across a variety of business subjects, so that you're able to gain understanding across different functions of a business and so able to provide you with an opportunity to consider how these different functions connect to one another. And this is really important in your learning about business, because functions in business are not siloed. They work together, and so ensuring you have a program which brings the learning across different parts of business together can be really important to provide you that experience before going into the marketplace yourself. So what we'll see, and I'll go on to look at the structure of this particular course, there are some core business subjects in the degree, but you're also, when you're studying this particular course, you're given a choice in the subjects you wish to study. And within Strahclyde, you have a particular choice depending on whether you want to follow a very broad range of subjects, and we'll call this the generalist path, or you prefer a balance between a broad curriculum with also looking at specialisms in your favourite subject, and that's a specialist pathway. And I'll look at both the structures of both of these particular courses in a second. So in addition to studying the subjects, and you're going to get a choice, and I'm going to show that choice in a minute, relevant to the different functions of business, it's also important that you're able to develop transferable business skills, so that you not only have a rigorous underpinning in the business subjects you're studying, but you also have experience in applying your knowledge in practice and having the opportunity to develop the skills required to do this. So I mentioned flexibility in the subjects you can choose to study. And next slide, please, Camilla. This shows the particular subjects in which you can choose within this Bachelor of Business Administration. Now, why these particular subjects? Because there's a whole range of different subjects out there. Well, these reflect the specialist areas of staff in the business school. And this is where we have research expertise and areas where we have extensive links to business and industry. And this is really important, so that as students, you're not just getting taught from a textbook, but you're being taught by experts in the field who are both researching and consulting in that area. And they can bring the leading edge concepts into the classroom, along with their industrial contacts and their experience. And in this way, you're able to bring both theory and practice together, so that you have the opportunity to develop a rigorous theoretical underpinning in the subject, whilst also gaining the experience from practice. Next slide, please, Camilla. Now, so I'm going to go on to look at the structure of the course, both the generalist and specialist program. Before I do, I just want to highlight one particular point, and that is we're continually reviewing and updating our offerings to ensure our course meet the needs of students, so that you're provided with the opportunity to develop the skills you need that are currently relevant to make an impact in industry and society when you graduate. So for this reason, please note that we're currently reviewing undergraduate structure, so that in about 2 years' time, we may be making changes to this. But for September 21, this will be the structure that's implemented. So what structure do we have? Well, you can see the parts that say business subject, then that's where you have choice to choose between the subjects I showed you earlier. But there are some core subjects as well. So in year one, you'll be looking at a quantitative core subject of economics and finance. Then in year two, you go to a couple of subjects that are more qualitative in nature, contemporary trends in management, along with new venture planning. That's a really important subject, new venture planning. It's part of our Hunter Centre for Entrepreneurship, which is really important with our graduates nowadays, because in today's environment, it's very important for business to be very entrepreneurial. The environment around us is changing us all the time, and we can't just stay with what we have. We have to be thinking about new ways of doing things. So understanding and exploring the issues associated with planning and creating new ventures is really important. And in our third year, you have a class which is issues and trends in business management. And this is where each year, all business subjects present the latest issues impacting their discipline, providing an overview across a broad range of subject areas. Now we have one particular block to the right you'll see, and that's called MDP. And that's a very important and unique aspect of our business degrees. And that's called the Management Development Pathway. And I'm going to come back to that in a second and explain what's involved in that. If we go into the next slide, please, Camilla. So previous slide is where you have a generalist Bachelor of Business Administration. So you're allowed to choose a range of subjects over each year. You can also choose to do a specialist subject where you have the same core topics that I've already covered, but then you have, in year one, choose 2 business subjects, one of which you specialise in, and then carry that specialism through to years 2 and 3. And these specialisms are from the subject choices that I showed you earlier. So you can have that choice between having a very broad range of curriculum or a slightly more specialised if there's a particular subject that is favourable to you. Next slide, please, Camilla. So in both programmes, in the first 2 years, you undertake something called the Management Development Programme. And this is a unique programme to Strahclyde Business School, and a very important one. Why is it important? Because this is where this module acts as a connecting module, where students are encouraged to bring together the learning from the business subjects you're studying elsewhere in your degree. And this is where you work on real business problems in student project teams with organisations. So it very much focuses on building different aspects of business skills and professional development over the first 2 years of degrees. So for instance, it enables students to build confidence and entrepreneurial capabilities, and promotes awareness of globalisation and decision-making and professional development. All key skills that you need to walk out as a graduate to be successful in the marketplace. So during this module, across the 2 years, you'll look at things like what is business, by looking at how business starts up, how business operates through an understanding of its projects, its people, and the professionalism you need to adopt. And throughout, you'll work in teams and you'll provide consultancy with real clients on real business opportunities and challenges. But in addition, you'll also be developing your professional development skills, which will enable you to understand which skills employers are looking for and how to develop these personalised to yourself. So you'll also have access to employees and alumni through this programme, ranging from large global brands such as Barclays and Procter & Gamble, but also successful small medium enterprises and startups. So you get a real mix of businesses you'll mix with. Next slide, please, Camilla. So I just wanted to highlight, because the Management Development Programme is really worth mentioning because it's a great example of our founding mission as a university. Our university was founded in 1796, and since that day, from day one, its founding mission has been to be a place of useful learning. And that's still very much an important part of the way we work today, to make your education useful so that you can so it can be at the forefront, so you can have real impact when you go into the marketplace. And this mission is still forefront for business. And it's not only relates to our teaching, but also the way that we do all our collaborative work. We work collaboratively with business through a wide range of research and knowledge exchange activities where we're working side by side with business, helping them solve their problems. Next slide, Camilla, please. So finally, I just want to say a bit about careers. Now, I've not got a long list. I've not got a list here of the exact jobs you can do and the particular organisations you work with, because it's so broad ranging. The general nature of the degree really keeps your options open. And I think that means that you have real wide opportunities to go to any sector of business. So you may want to focus on your specialism. So if you specialise in marketing, you might want to go into being a marketing executive. If you specialise in business analysis technology, a business analyst, and so on. Or you might want to keep that broader career opportunities by taking the more generalist degree. But really, this degree is particularly suited to, the graduates who come out from this degree are particularly suited to companies that are seeking graduates with a broad understanding of business and management, really good decision-making skills, good teamworking capabilities, and very good communication skills, which, as you can imagine, is across all sectors. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this slide, it really is a good general degree that keeps your options open to which particular parts and sectors of business you may want to get into. So I think my next slide is a asking for questions, but I think we're going to keep them to the end. So thanks very much for your time, and I'll be hanging around and hopefully have some questions and chat with you at the end of the session.
I realized I was muted when I introduced you, Susan, so apologies.
Okay.
Then we'll go over to Annie from Hult International Business School. Yeah.
Hey guys, can everyone hear me? Yes? Okay, so we have been here for 40 minutes, so I want to make sure that you guys are with me. And at Hult, which I represent, we always want our classes to be interactive. So I'm going to ask all of you to write in the chat box what city you're from. We usually do this, but we ask for what country you're from. And we always see 20 different minimum countries pop up in the chat box. So please write in the chat box so everyone can see what city you're from and where you're sitting right now, just to wake you up a little bit. And so now I'm representing Hult International Business School. You might have heard of it, maybe not. I'm half Norwegian, half Swedish, så jeg snakker norsk. Så dere kan stille meg spørsmål på norsk om dere vil. But because you are interested in studying outside of Norway, I'm going to keep it to English. So I've worked with Hult for about 3 years. I've advised more than 500 families in their educational journey. I have lived a few places around the world myself, Scotland, US, Netherlands, Norway, and now I'm currently in London. So as I said, I'm here to represent Hult International Business School, and we are not a university like the other universities with medical institution and social sciences, etc. We focus on business only. So what is unique about Hult? That is our global campuses. So you can choose to study in Boston, San Francisco, London, Dubai, New York, or Shanghai. And while you're doing your 3 years of your bachelor's at Hult or your 1-year master's, you can rotate around those campuses as you wish. So you can start in London, do a semester in Boston, do a summer in Shanghai or Dubai, then back to London. It's up to you. What that does to the school is that it makes it 100% international. So as you can see at the very bottom right on the screen right now, no single nationality represents more than 8.5%, meaning that in a classroom of 40 people, there will be at least 20 different nationalities. So you learn to work together with people from all around the world. So as the other universities also have mentioned, we have certain majors and minors that you can focus on, that you can see on the screen right now. But in addition to that, we have lots of other courses that are very important to understand business. So we have the core business classes like the ones you saw, and management and business law. But we also think that in order for you to be a good businessman or businesswoman, you need to have creative problem-solving skills, and you need to think critically, and you need to know about emerging technologies, because that means everything for the business world tomorrow. So you will learn those as well as the core business subjects. But you are here to understand how to make money. And maybe you were hoping to come into this webinar and go out of it just knowing what funds to invest in and what jobs to get. But what we believe at Hult is that you will make money if you work with your passion. So when your hobbies become your jobs, then it will not feel like you're going to a job. It will feel like you're working with something you truly care about. And that's when you can put in the extra energy that will make you successful. So a degree in business, it gives you an understanding of the world, and it opens your future to endless possibilities. It empowers you to build a career based on your passions and make a real impact. So many of you might think that you want to make money, which is why you're here. And that's why you have to study finance. So you can work in a big corporate bank, in investment banking, and work 20 hours per day and make lots and lots of money. But that might not be what you're interested in. Maybe you're not that big fan of numbers and calculations, but you still want to make money. Well, you can. You really can. And how to do that? You need to learn about yourself. You need to understand what you're interested in and what drives you. Because it's actually said that the #1 predictor of executive success is self-awareness. So when you know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, you can continue building on your strengths and you can improve your weaknesses. And that way you will be the best version of yourself. So at Hult, you will do that. You will learn what you're interested in, what you care about, and how that can convert into business and a future job. So you will work on your strengths and weaknesses, and that's what we call a growth mindset. If you think that, oh, I don't like doing this, so I'm never going to do that, then that's okay. That's a fixed mindset. If you want to make real money, you need to be able to go out of your comfort zone. You need to be able to think, I'm not so good at that, which is why I'm going to go to Hult and improve that and become good at that. So for example, we have the Hult Prize, which is where students go together and create a business or a business idea, and they develop that, and it has to follow a topic that is good for the world. So it could be eliminating food waste. We throw away so much food. Or it can be sustainable fashion, because fashion can be not so ethical business. And if you get to the finals, you will go to the United Nations headquarters in New York. And if you win, Bill Clinton will give you $1 million to actually implement your project. So I would call that to make money, but that's not by working 20 hours per day in an investment bank. That is by making a company that you believe in that is good for the world. You will also work with real companies through their real challenges. And here you can see companies that we have recently partnered with. I think the most popular one was Ferrari. That was last summer. We worked with Ferrari on their real problem. So they come to Hult and they say, we have this issue. Can your business students help us come up with a solution? And then our business students go together and think of different solutions to that business problem. And then they present it to the board. And this has led to several internships and job offers because you get those connections at campus already. And actually, Virgin Money, it's like Virgin is an airline company, kind of like Norwegian. And you know how Norwegian has started their bank, like Norwegian bank card? So Virgin did the same, but they had a problem that people didn't use it. They used Vipps and online banking and stuff instead. So they went to Hult, and a Norwegian guy from Trondheim called Elias, he presented such a good business solution for them that they asked him to take 1 year off from Hult to work as a project manager. And this was only after his second year. So he worked for Virgin Money for 1 year as a project manager before going back to Hult and graduating. So those are the opportunities you can get. And that was a paid job. So he definitely made money during that year, a year in the middle of his studies. So also what you will learn at Hult, which is very important for the future, if you want to make money, if you want to study business, even if you don't, it's so important to learn about the future because the world is changing very fast. It is actually estimated that 40% of all US jobs will be automated by 2030. That means in 10 years, 40% of the current jobs might not exist in 10 years. That's why it's important that you, when you go to university, look at what you will learn and make sure that is not 200, okay, that's an exaggeration, 50-year-old economical theories that, you know, companies don't really care about today. That's why, again, at Hult, you will learn about artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, robotics. You're not going to learn how to trade with, you know, Bitcoin, or you're not going to learn how to build robots. But you need to understand what this means for future business. So after Hult, you might be wondering what our Hult students are doing today and if they are making money. And I can tell you that with today's conversion rate, which the Norwegian kroner is a bit weak, the average salary 3 months after graduation was 470,000 Norwegian kroners. And that is with today's conversion rate. So that is a very good salary for your first job. And this is the average. So another thing that we're very proud of is that 99% of our students, of our graduates, are either employed or pursuing a master's degree within 6 months after graduation. That is a very, very high number that we're very proud of. And we believe that is because, as I said, you will work with real companies when you are in the classroom. And you will have that network and you will know people from all around the world. So actually 56% of our graduates are working in a country that is different from their own. So more than half of the students don't go back home. They stay abroad or go to their friends' family businesses or to a different country where they get an internship or a job. And here you can see some of where the places they're working at. Maybe you recognize some of these. There's a lot of, as you can see here, there's a lot of finance. So most of our students actually work in finance. So they are maybe like you, they want to make money quickly. But actually 6% of our students start their own company after graduating, because we're very focused on entrepreneurship and innovation, because we believe that's also where the money is. If you start your company and you become successful, you can earn more than you could do in a bank. So with that being said, I am here. I'm responsible for Scandinavian students, so I will help you with any questions you might have about Hult. So you can find us on social media. We show a lot of how students are doing day to day and what they're doing, and we have virtual campus tours and student success stories. So you can follow us here. And if you have any questions at all about anything about Hult or London or Boston or San Francisco or business or how to make money, you can also contact me directly. So thank you very much.
That's great, Annie. Thank you so much. Vanessa, do you want to share your presentation?
Okay, I will share my screen. All right, can you see the screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone, good evening. I'm Vanessa. So I'm representing James Cook University, Singapore. So today I'm just going to share with you our business programs and what can you expect from James Cook University, Singapore. All right, so if you have not heard of James Cook University, Singapore, we are actually known as the University for the Tropics. Why you might be wondering why we are known as University for the Tropics is because you can remember us by this 1, 2, and 3. So we are one university in 2 countries and in 3 tropical locations. Okay, so we are established on 20th of April 1970 as a state-owned university, of course funded by the Australian government, and we are top 2% of universities in the academic ranking of World Universities Shanghai Jiao Tong University 2017. So just bear in mind that you can remember us by 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1 university, 2 countries, and 3 tropical locations. So I'm going to show you where we are on the map. So we have a campus in Singapore, and we have 2 other campuses in Australia. So James Cook University, Australia, 1 in Townsville and 1 in Cairns. So we are top 2% of universities and #1 in the world for marine and freshwater biology, and of course the only Australian institution gaining the university status in Singapore. So we have our own campus based in Singapore. So if students enroll with us, they will be taking classes in the Singapore campus itself. Okay. So I suppose everyone has like images about going to the UK and Hawaii in their minds, but not necessarily Singapore. So I thought I will spend 1 minute to draw some impressions of Singapore for those of you who have not been here. So I'm not sure if most of you have been to Singapore. So I would like to share, Singapore as a gateway to Asia. So why do I say that? Okay, so just by looking at this map itself, as you can see from the pointer here, Singapore is right here, and we are, surrounded by many countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, Philippines, and actually, in fact, we are just 5 minutes away from Malaysia. Okay, so if you take a train to Malaysia, you just need 5 minutes to get there, and it's basically very easily accessible by public buses. And what you need to do is just to cross the bridge, across the causeway, and you can get to Malaysia. That is what most of our students does when they are here in Singapore. So they do like to explore and visit to these places in Southeast Asia. So in the next slide, you will be able to see some pictures of Southeast Asia. So of course, this is Singapore itself at Gardens by the Bay. And this is one of the busiest street in Bangkok, Thailand. Over here, this was the one that I was talking about. And this is one of the places in Bali. Of course, this is a very nice beach in Ha Long Bay, Vietnam. And of course, Marina Bay Sands, the infinity pool, as you can see. So these are some pictures to show you that these are the places that you can visit in Southeast Asia. So of course, Singapore is also a city in a garden. So I'm not sure if you have heard of MBS, Marina Bay Sands. So this is one of the most popular tourist attraction in Singapore. So if you look at this building here with 3 very tall buildings held by a ship. So this is actually Marina Bay Sands. So from here, these 3 towers are actually hotels, and at the top, the ship-looking rooftop is actually restaurants and like swimming pool. And of course, right below these 3 hotel buildings, there are shops and casino in there. So, yeah. So actually, Singapore is also a cultural melting pot, I would say, because Singapore is an example that racial harmony exists. So in Singapore, we actually have 4 official languages, and we celebrate different cultures all year round. So if you are keen to explore these cultures and these celebrations in Singapore, once you are here, you will be able to feel these different cultures and different celebrations all year round. So we have the 4 major cultures, which is the Chinese, Indian, Malay, and Eurasian. So from a business study point of view, I would say the diverse cultural perspective can actually inspire, creativity and drive some innovation and greater opportunity for personal and also, professional growth. So as you can see in this picture, it's a very Chinese looking building in Singapore. So these buildings can be found at most places in Singapore. Yeah. So the 4 children represent the 4 different races in Singapore. Okay, so as some of you may also know that, Singapore as a country, we started with 0 natural resources and even without drinkable water. So we literally buy our water from Malaysia. So, if you are interested about that, you can actually Google about it. So nowadays, the main industry in Singapore are like financial services, IT services, consumer electronics, pharmaceutical, and there are some favorable climate for investments. So being the bridge for, the East and West, there are many global companies with regional headquarters in here. So one example is Google. And, one of the biggest company that has their headquarters here in Singapore is, of course, like Facebook, Microsoft, Dyson, and, the list goes on. And you can also find many Norwegian companies with offices here as well. So for example, Telenor or Nordea, etc. So all these companies, they create jobs in Singapore, and for many positions, the companies want to hire like graduates, graduates with business backgrounds and knowledge. So you will see available positions such as marketing, HR, IT, or in the financial sectors, like managers, like management consultants, etc. So if you have a business mind, you could also become an entrepreneur too with a business degree. So yeah, so of course, like the others, of course, other than working in some corporate firms as a graduate from business major, you can pursue a diverse range of careers in government and banking sectors as well. So I'm just going to share with you a list of foreign banks in Singapore. So these are just a few foreign banks which are the most popular ones in Singapore. Yeah. So such as ANZ Bank, Citibank. So the few big banks in Singapore are like Standard Chartered, HSBC banks, Maybank, UOB, OCBC banks. So you will see a lot of banks in Singapore. So this is one of the headquarters in Singapore. So Google campus in Singapore. I'm not sure if you have read about it before. So they recently opened, a new Google campus, they call it, in Singapore, and it's definitely one of the places that most of our graduates would want to, experience and get a job in there. I would say, yeah, it's a fun place to be in. And of course, take a look at this massive, 4 stories Facebook office, also located in Singapore. So they are ready to, employ 3,000 employees. And right now they only have about 1,000 plus of employees. So there are a lot of opportunities for students who study in business, IT field. And of course, they are open to all these positions. So they also recently built, its data center in Singapore. So this will only be ready in 2022. So of course, when asked why did they choose Singapore as to open a headquarters, they actually shared, the spokesman actually shared that Singapore has provided many things that a business can look for, and also like it includes good infrastructure and great regulatory and business climate. So Singapore, I would say, is a good place to start a business. Yeah. So like I say, for our business graduates, there are plenty of opportunities for you out there in the market if you happen to graduate with a business degree in Singapore. So just to share with you as well, Singapore just recently, Apple just recently opened, a new store, a floating Apple store at Marina Bay, one of the prime location in Singapore. And also Dyson, one of the biggest UK engineering company, has actually moved to Singapore. So if you wonder, like, why would they move to Singapore? So actually the company's chief executive, Jim Rowan, has mentioned that, they have seen an acceleration of opportunities to grow the company's revenue in Asia. So that was one of the reasons why they actually moved to Singapore. Yeah, and I would like to share with you as well, like in terms of the GDP per capita, Singapore is ranked number 4 in the world, as you can see. So yeah, let me just share with you also an interesting fact about Singapore. So the millionaire population in Singapore stood at, around 269,000 in 2019, and is projected to actually increase to about 364,000 in 2024. So the number of millionaires and billionaires in Singapore is also rising as well. Yeah, so one more thing to share is that, Singapore is also known as the smart nation. So as quoted by our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, he he's aiming to work towards a smart nation, a nation where, you know, people live meaningful and fulfilled lives, you know. So as you can see in this quote that he says, our vision is to be a smart nation, so a nation where people will live meaningful and fulfilled lives, so enabled seamlessly by technology, and, you know, of course, offering exciting opportunities for all. So he's aiming to, you know, improve Singapore's businesses and society with, of course, digital technology. So technology is now very, very hot industry in Singapore as well. It's comparable to, you know, in the business industry. So just to share as well, so in this is one of the facility that we have on campus. So we actually have a financial lab for students who, you know, are interested in finance majors. So in the JCU financial lab, we are, you know, well equipped with Bloomberg terminals. So it provides some stimulation of, you know, financial markets. So students get, you know, first-hand information of the trade and currency exchange. And, you know, we do also have, as you can see from this image here, we have real life stocks for them to analyze, you see, so they can actually do the comparison and have some first-hand experience in our financial lab on campus. Yep, so these are some of the business majors that I would like to share with you. So we offer Bachelor of Business majoring in, we offer Business and Environmental Science, Business Intelligence and Information System, International Business, Marketing, Management, Human Resource, Hospitality and Tourism Management, Tourism, Hospitality and Events. So we also offer courses such as Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in Accounting, Banking and Finance, Economics, Financial Management, and, you know, as International Trade. So if you wonder why take a business degree in JCU Singapore, so we actually offer a wide range of majors in different aspects. So students will have the opportunity to learn in greater depth in the field that, you know, they wish to excel in. So every student has different perspective and different interests. So at JCU, we also have the flexibility for students to choose a double major. So if you are interested in management as well as interested in marketing, you can actually do both majors at once. So yeah, and also, I mean, all these majors will open doors to various industry and job scopes for our students. And there are many, many opportunities in Singapore for your chosen specialization as well. So just sharing with you our academics team. So all of our academics are PhD holders. And of course, they are just as diverse as our students. So by the way, 75% of our student population is international. So they are all multinational. So even our lecturers are multinational as well. So if you look at the screen, this is our campus head, Professor Chris Root. He is the Deputy Vice Chancellor from the UK. This is Associate Professor Abhishek. Abhishek is from Singapore. Research Dean, Professor Dean Jerry. Professor Dean Jerry is from Australia. So looking at the list, we have a few, you can actually spot some business lecturers like Dr. Thiru. Dr. Thiru is teachers in business. Dr. Tong, and Dr. Caroline Wong, Dr. Adrian Bradshaw. Yeah, so all of our full-time lecturers at JCU are, you know, required to be research active. So this is one point that we would like to bring across. So you can check out all their lecturer profiles and their research interests directly from our website. So I would also like to mention about our unique trimester system. So we run on the trimester system instead of a semester system. So you can actually complete a bachelor's degree in 2 years and a master's degree in 1 year. So of course, by by taking a bachelor's degree in 2 years, it's a shorter duration, it saves time and of course save cost for yourself. So students enrolled in the bachelor's degree only generally needs to study for 2 years. And how it works is that, we run on the 3 terms a year instead of 2 terms, like I mentioned. And of course, cutting down some days from, the summer holidays and the winter holidays. So instead of getting a few 2 to 3 months of holiday, you will only be getting probably about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. So of course, it's more intense in a way, but it is manageable, I would say. So most of our students, the passing rate is high, and I would say it's manageable for the students. And this way, of course, international students can also save on accommodation and living costs abroad. Yeah, so you can actually graduate earlier and start earning a full-time income. Yep, so the living cost comparison, I would say, although Singapore ranks, as the most expensive city to live in the world, but you can actually live in this fantastic city and not save, and save money and time as well. So you will not need, of course, you will not need a car or, a house yourself in Singapore. So of course, in a sense that trains and buses are usually very convenient in Singapore. So it runs on like 5 to 7 minutes interval. Yeah. So food is also very affordable in Singapore. And of course, you can try out our Michelin star restaurant in Singapore. It's definitely cheaper than what you will spend, I think, in Norway. Yeah. And of course, yeah. So if you're a Norwegian student, you're even luckier because, you're most likely to be eligible for your government funding. So you can check out with Sono team, and I think they are an expert and they can tell you, and advise you on how to finance your studies abroad. So so if you look at this picture, it's one of the swimming pool in the condominiums in Singapore. So most of our European students, they choose to rent an apartment in a condominium with barbecue pits, swimming pool, and of course, security guards. But you don't really need a security guard in Singapore, I would say, because it's quite safe. And of course, you have summer all year round in Singapore, so they definitely get to use the swimming pool. So you pay for the swimming pool, you get to utilize it fully. Yeah. So to find out more about our students' experience, feel free to follow us on, JCU Singapore Study Abroad Instagram, and also feel free to find out more updates about JCU Singapore in our official Instagram page. Yeah, so thank you very much today for joining us.
Yeah, you can send questions in the chat box if you have any. Okay, so let's see the questions. This is not directed at any. One second, give me 1 second. Okay, this is not directed at any one university, but maybe Annie from Hult wants to answer. Do I need to have a bachelor's degree in business to do a master's degree in business at Hult?
No, you do not.
Okay.
It can be a bachelor's degree from any field, because again, business is about, it's more than just numbers and finance and Excel. So we want people to come from a broad variety of bachelor degrees. You might have to do some placement tests in the beginning. So if there are certain things you should know to be able to follow the classes, then you might have to take like that certain class. But otherwise, you can choose the classes you want, and you can be accepted to hold master program with any bachelor degree.
Okay, is that the same for Bond University? Are you with us, Matt?
Sorry, I was my mute button. Pretty much the same. There are a couple programs where you may require to have some sort of degree of business experience within your degree. So we would look at it on an individual basis. For example, if you were coming into a Master's of Actuarial Science or something, there's a higher level of maths that goes into the sort of data areas or the actuarial science areas. So we would need to ensure that there's some background in the maths area coming out of that bachelor's program. But generally, yes, you could come into a master's program across most of them from any degree range to bachelor's level. But there may be a couple sort of in the high level maths area that we'd have to look at certain. It's probably more of a subject than it is a program based that we'd have to make sure that the student had the prior knowledge.
And here's a question for you, Vanessa. Can I work in Singapore after I graduate? I
would say the possibility is there because of course you cannot work when you are holding a student pass in Singapore, but after you have graduated, students do get employed in Singapore and they can actually apply for a work pass from the ICA, which is the immigration and checkpoint. So it's case basis, I would say. So, but there is a possibility to work in Singapore after you graduate. And you have a lot of international students who got employed in Singapore after they have graduated.
Yeah, and you also mentioned there are a lot of Norwegian companies who have are in Singapore, so there could be opportunities that way as well.
That's right.
And someone's asking more of an admissions related questions like, do I need to be good at maths to do a business degree? Yeah, I don't know if anyone's up for that. In general.
Just from my perspective, I think, again, the majority of the programs no. I mean, I guess it's university based depending on what university has for their entrance requirements. Certainly for us, and I won't speak for all Australian universities because they'll all be different, but maths isn't a prerequisite for some of the programs coming into business. It's recommended, but not a prerequisite that's required. But there are, as I said, certain areas where maths is a priority and math is recommended, like in sort of more data areas, actuarial science, like I mentioned before, as well as data analytics. So as there's an increase in some programs out there that are really focused on the data side of things, there is a very high level of maths coming into that. So I think it's very university dependent on what their admissions entry requirements are. But I think you should be able to certainly find some universities that won't require you to have much of a maths-based background.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same for us. You will do a maths placement test when you come there. And you might have to do like an introduction math course if you don't score too high on that. But it's not going to be that you don't get accepted because you're not that good at maths or you don't like maths. Because, I mean, you can do entrepreneurship and marketing and management and psychology without being good at maths. So business is more than just maths. But if you want to do business analytics or finance, then yes, there are certain math courses required to get that major and get that degree.
That makes sense. And then there's a question about, do I need to also do a master's degree to get a job? Yeah, it's just not directed at anyone, but
right. I think from my point of view, in Singapore, basically, you do not need a master's degree to get a job. So if you, of course, they do look at qualifications and job experiences. So for fresh graduate, I would say if you hold a bachelor's degree, you can easily get a pretty decent job in Singapore based on your qualifications as well as the job that you are applying for. So I think a master's degree is a plus point, of course, if you want to work in Singapore. But having a bachelor's degree, I would say, is more than enough to get a job in Singapore.
Yeah, because a lot of students go straight from their bachelor's degree to their master's degree, but there might be misconception that you need a master's degree.
Yes.
So good
that's
question.
right.
Let's see if there are any questions. I don't think we have any more questions. Anything you guys would like to add before we finish?
I
Nope.
will, yeah. Wish everyone well, and if there's anything that we can do, just let us know. But good luck. They're all great options, and there's so many great options around the globe. But right now it's a bit tough. But
Yeah.
we're all gonna take a turn here, and we'll all be back with a lot more options to move around soon. Let's hope.
Yeah. Let's hope. Well, thank you so much, all of you, for participating, and I'll email students tomorrow if they have any more questions. And you guys have a good rest of your evening, day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.